Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Om Namah Shri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukhaswarupaya Swami Tapaharine Om. So, dear devotees, we have been seeing life of Swami Vivekananda, and after having spent almost 3 years in the West, both in US and in England, and visiting Europe. Now, Swamiji was on his way to India, and they did not. Swamiji came with Mr. and Mrs. Xavier and J.J. Goodwin, and the other disciples, other devotees, Western devotees, they came later directly to India. And when he was departing from London, one person asked him. So an English friend asked, Swami, how will you like your motherland after 3 years experience in the luxurious and powerful West? And Swamiji's reply was, I loved India before I came away, and now India is a place for pilgrimage to me. So Swamiji came back to India. Now the idea that Swamiji had was that India is a Punya Bhumi, India is a place of pilgrimage, and it is with that attitude that Swamiji was coming back to India. And even earlier, when once in Detroit, when uh, people were hesitant to listen to him, like there were some difficulties, and but Swamiji said, like, India will listen to me. I will shake India to her foundations. I will send an electric thrill through her veins. Wait till you see how India receives me. It is India, my own India, that knows truly how to appreciate what I have given so freely here and with my life's blood. India will receive me in triumph. So he had told this a few months back when he was in US, and still anyway they were coming on the ship, and they did not expect. They had no clue what to expect. But in India, they were very thrilled. His disciples have been very thrilled, and as we have seen, right from the time when the Swamiji's great victory in Chicago address, they were in touch with Swamiji. They were getting Swamiji's books. They were following what Swamiji was doing there, and Swamiji also was writing letters. He was guiding his disciples and devotees back in India. So all through the 3 years when Swamiji was in US, the India work was going in full swing. So under the able guidance of people like Alasinga Perumal and Singaravi Mudaliyar. So these people, like and his brother disciples here. So through all of them, the work was going on. So uh, so even though Swamiji was there for 3 years in the US, he was not a stranger to India at all. There were his words were kept alive here, and his message was being spread here. So everything was happening. So when Swamiji left Europe to come to India, they were very thrilled here, and they made all preparations. They published Swamiji's articles, and in newspapers, and they talked to a lot of dignitaries in different cities that Swamiji is coming, we should do something and all that. And some of Swamiji's brother disciples even came down. Niranjananandji came all the way up to Colombo, and Swami Shivananda came all the way up to Chennai to receive Swamiji. And so people were, a lot of preparations were happening here in India by his disciples and devotees, but none of these were known to Swamiji as he was coming. So when he landed up in Colombo, now he was really surprised to see the big reception which was there. So very so now the ship cannot come all the way up to the shore. So usually the ship will stand somewhere in the middle of the sea, and then there will be a ferry which will be used to take the passengers from the ship to the shore. And when Swamiji's ship arrived at Colombo, there was a very well decorated ferry with all flowers and banners, which was prepared already, which was ready there in Colombo to transport Swamiji from the ship to the land. So even right from the ship itself, the celebration had started. And when Swamiji reached the land, the moment he landed up in Colombo, lot of people, thousands of people who had assembled there, they all fell down on their feet, going down to Swamiji, and it was a very thrilling sight to see. And yeah, and also there he was taken in a huge procession. There were flags all over the place, and there were banners. There were religious hymns playing, and there were bands playing Indian music, and people were sprinkling rose water and Ganga water and strewing flowers along the path. And hundreds of people were offering fruits and other offerings to Swamiji in respect. So it was a great reception, and Swamiji actually did not expect it at all. And Swamiji stood up to it, and he spoke in Colombo, and he said that this victory which is being celebrated is the victory of Indian spirituality, and so he completely kept himself away from all this as an individual, but still accepted all this respect as a representative of Sanatana Dharma. So that is how he took it. And in the Colombo speech, he said that earlier he was thinking that Indian masses were not well informed of all the history and politics happening in the world, the science and technological advancements. He was not that the Indian people were not keeping abreast of all these things. But then that one sannyasi went from India to the Parliament of Religions and was able to get some honor there and teach there and do some work there. Looks like the entire Indian masses were keeping track of what was happening there. And so Swamiji said, like, now I understand. It is not because of lack of enthusiasm or curiosity that you are not keeping track of the science, technology, politics, development in the other parts of the world, but it is just that you are not interested in it. And what you are interested in it, which is spirituality, religion, you are very much aware of what is happening around the world. So, and he emphasized that every just like every person has a role in life, every country, every civilization has a role in the community of nations. And India's role in the community of nations is to be the Vishwaguru. The spirituality uh, uh, is the main stay of Indian life, and India can be revived only on those lines. So he said, first we have to revive religion, and then with that we'll be able to revive science, technology, education, development, society. Everything can be done based on that. So that was Swamiji's core message, and he also emphasized Vedanta and the difference between the Shrutis and Smritis. The Shrutis are time independent of time, independent of culture, and they are eternal. And around the Shrutis, you have the Smritis, which can change over time and which should change over time, and which cannot be applied to different cultures. So, and also he emphasized that the Shruti part, though it is very clearly separated out in Sanatana Dharma, the Shruti and the Smriti are very clearly separated out. It has not been so in the other religions, but using the template provided by, by Sanatana Dharma, other religions also can look into their own scriptures and separate out the Shruti part and the Smriti part, which is eternal and which is social application. And keeping the eternal core, every religion can modernize the external aspects of the religion. The that way, that is the only way to preserve the religion and keep it modern. So Swamiji explained how time over time the Sanatana Dharma keeping the core, which is the Shrutis, intact, the legal and social aspects of it, they have been part of the Smriti, and they were being revived and rewritten again and again as the time changes, as the society changes. And that is the secret of the Sanatana Dharma. And the modern ills of the society was because the Smriti was not had not been revived or revised for a long time. So keeping the core the same, we have to revise the external parts of religion, and that way Hinduism can be revived, Sanatana Dharma can be revived and made relevant once more. And he also emphasized that the same has to be applied to other religions, and this is something which we can teach to the other religions, how to separate out the core from the external aspects, and how to revive the external aspects, keeping the core intact. This has been done by Hinduism again and again and again, several times over a period of time. And that if other religions also do it, then they can be relevant, they can be modern, and they can help society. They can be free from fanaticism and fundamentalism. And so this was Swamiji's teaching. And another thing also, he said that the core is in fact the same in across all religions also. So, and in India, he was emphasizing particularly how the Indian society has to reform itself, and how India was great in the past, and in between, the current state is only a temporary state of degradation, and the future of India is going to be much better than any time in the past. So all these things were topics of discussion by Swamiji. And so in Colombo, he was given a very, very grand reception. And this was just the beginning. And as he went, wherever he went, it was again and again and again. Everywhere he was given grand reception and great respect. And Swamiji accepted all these gracefully as the respect given to Sanatana Dharma, to the grand spiritual tradition of India. So from Colombo, he gave lectures. Then they went to Kandy. Then from Kandy to Jaffna, and so these lectures are beautiful. The Colombo lecture is the first lecture in the East, and that kind of summarizes everything that Swamiji uh, keeps expanding it in the rest of the his first 1 year. So this 1 year in 1897, from January to December, Swamiji went across the length and breadth of India and gave lectures in a lot of places. And totally 29 lectures which he gave have been collected together into a book called Lectures from Colombo to Almora. Now, this is one of Swamiji's most important books, and especially for the Indian people. So, in this lectures, Swamiji has given all the messages that he wants to give to the Indian public. So, Lectures from Colombo to Almora, it is published as a separate book, and selections from the Lectures from Colombo to Almora is also published as To the Youth of India as another book. And recently, there is one more book which has come, which presents the Lectures from Colombo to Almora in a pictorial way. It is called Awakening the Nation and Rediscover the Spirit of India with Swami Vivekananda. And this is a retelling of the Lectures of Colombo to Almora by Srinivas Venkatram. It's a very, very recent book, which actually came as a series over several years in Vedanta Kesari, and that has been collected together and edited and published in a book form. It has come out very, very beautifully. And so it is by Srinivas Venkatram of Illumine Company, and it's a very beautiful book. So whoever is interested in Colombo to Almora, I would highly recommend that you buy this book. It's available on Amazon. It's called Awakening the Nation. So this is a Illumine Publications book by Srinivas Venkatram. So this Lectures from Colombo to Almora is very, very important. Everyone should read. And particularly, there are a few lectures. You can the four or five lectures, like including the reception lecture in Chennai, 5 lectures in Madras. That is the core of the whole thing, and the other lectures are also really good. So, right, Colombo lecture is very good, and Jaffna lecture, he summarizes Vedanta. It gives a very beautiful summary of Vedanta in the Jaffna lecture. And so after Ceylon, from Jaffna, he took a boat and came to the Indian mainland and arrived at Pamban. So Pamban is in the island of Rameshwaram, and even today the exact place where he landed in Pamban, it is called Kundukkal. There is a beautiful memorial for Swami Vivekananda there. So at Pamban, he was received by the Raja of Ramnad, and then from Pamban, Swamiji went to Rameshwaram temple, and at Rameshwaram temple, he gave a beautiful lecture on that, and there is there he said, like, worship of Shiva through by the service of other living beings is a higher worship, and worship in the temple using names and forms is only a preliminary form of worship. The actual worship is to serve human beings. And Shiva Jnane Jiva Seva, he emphasized that. And so he gives an illustration there. Suppose there are 2 gardeners, and one gardener, he always sits next to the master and then keeps praising how beautiful the master looks, how beautiful his eyes are, how beautiful his mouth is, and he keeps praising the master. Whereas another gardener, he works hard in the garden and sows the seeds, put manure, and grows them, takes care of them, and then puts uh, generates a lot of produce, puts all the produce in a big basket, and comes and keeps it at the foot of the master, and then goes down to the master. So now, which person will the master be more satisfied with, and who is a better follower? Is the person who takes care of the master's land, grows vegetables, and brings the produce and offers to the master, or the person who sits idle at the feet of the master, keeps praising him for everything? So Swamiji says, like, be a karma yogi, serve the people. This entire universe is nothing but the Lord. So serve the world and serve all the living beings in the world, and offer all the actions to the world as offerings to the Lord. That is a better way of worship. So that is what Swamiji talked in Rameshwaram. And after Rameshwaram, he traveled to Ramnad, where also he was received very well. That was the capital city of the Raja of Ramnad. And so there, the uh, the the chariot, the people removed the horses from Swamiji's chariot, and the public, including the king, they pulled the chariot uh, with Swamiji in it. So, and Swamiji gave very great lectures there. And from Rameshwaram, he went by train to Madras, and all along the way, people stopped him, and they wanted him to give talks. So he gave talks at Paramakudi, Manamadurai, and his lecture in Manamadurai is very, very interesting, where he says that Sanatana Dharma puts God first and the world later, and renunciation is given so much of emphasis, and God is not treated as a means to worldly ends, whereas the world is treated as the means to with God as the end. And that is because of that, Sanatana Dharma is the true religion, a religion which uh, focuses on world as the end and God as the means. Can never be a true religion. Only a religion which emphasizes that world is a means and God is the end can be the true religion. So a very interesting uh, uh, argument he makes in the Manamadurai lecture. And then there was he went to Madurai, and then from he visited the Meenakshi temple, and then from there he went to Kumbakonam, and the Kumbakonam lecture is also very, very beautiful, mission of Vedanta. And from there, finally, on February 6th, 1897, he reached Madras. And Madras was fully decked up. And on the way to Madras, just before Madras, there was a small station where actually the train was not supposed to stop. But the people all stood on the railway track, and some of them sat, some of them lied down on the railway track, asking that the station master should stop the train, and they want to see Swami Vivekananda before letting the train to go. And the station master, actually, there was not a stop there, but having no other option because the people were all lying on the track, so he had to stop the train. And then they all took blessings from Swami Vivekananda, and then they let the train to proceed to Madras. So this happened a few stations before Madras, and so the train arrived at Madras, and the entire city was fully decked up. There were 17 triumphant arches which were put up in Madras, and the building which you see on the bottom right, this is called Vivekananda House today. Today it houses a museum on Swamiji by Ramakrishna Math. Now this house, this building, which was a big building with a lot of space around it. Now this which was belonging to one Biligiri Iyengar. So they hired this building, and they housed Swamiji here, so that it was quite spacious, so that people can come and see, because they expected that there will be a lot of visitors who will be coming to visit Swamiji as expected. And so Swamiji stayed in this building, and Swamiji stayed for 9 days in Madras. And even today, the 9 days from February 6th to 15th that Swamiji stayed in Madras is celebrated as Vivekananda Navaratri by Ramakrishna Math in Chennai. And these 9 days is full of lectures, talks, and every year there is a Vivekananda Navaratri celebration in Chennai from February 6th to 15th. Swamiji arrived at Chennai on February 6th, and there was so on the third day of his arrival, there was a welcome which was arranged, and originally it was Victoria Hall was selected, but then it was not sufficient. It was huge crowd, so finally it was an open air gathering. And Swamiji, it was a temporary arrangement, so Swamiji was standing on top of a horse coach carriage, and he addressed the people. And Swamiji made a funny remark that he's standing like Krishna standing on the chariot, the Gita fashion. He's addressing, and he addressed the public, and there was huge enthusiasm. And because it was moved to the open air, not many people could hear what Swamiji spoke. But what the good thing is, Swamiji had brought J.J. Goodwin along with him. So right from Colombo, everywhere where Swamiji went, J.J. Goodwin went along with Swamiji. And Swamiji's speech was always extempore, but J.J. Goodwin took down in shorthand every speech that Swamiji was giving, and that was immediately transcribed into English, printed as pamphlets, and distributed to the people. So even though Swamiji could not be heard by many people for the first response to the invitation, but it was printed, and it was distributed in printed form and published in newspapers and everything. So Swamiji's message still reached the huge number of people right from the first day itself. And in this Vivekananda house, outside, Swamiji stayed there, and outside that, huge shamianas were erected, so that people can wait there, sit there, and meet Swamiji. And there was a place where Swamiji was as a makeshift office arrangement was done, so that Swamiji can meet different people who were coming. And there was a continuous stream of visitors, or professors, students, public, learned people, and it was a big occasion. And Swamiji tirelessly was attending to the public, and all the 9 days he gave a total of 5 talks, and that also was interesting. After the third day, Alasinga Perumal introduced Swamiji to two very, very scholarly gentlemen of Madras, Professor Rangacharya and K. Sundaram Iyer. Now, Swamiji asked these two people, Rangacharya and Sundaram Iyer, what he should talk on in Chennai. So he asked them to come up with a list of topics, and he said he will work out the details and speak on them. So it was these two people, Professor Rangacharya and K. Sundaram Iyer, who discussed among themselves, and they came up with a list of topics: my plan of campaign, the sages of India, Vedanta in its application to Indian life, and the future of India. So these four topics were selected by them, and they gave it to Swamiji. And Swamiji thought about it and prepared mentally and spoke on these four topics. And these four cover very system, because Swamiji was already aware, okay, these are the four topics. He's going to give four lectures, and these people also have chosen these four topics in a very, very thoughtful way. So these four lectures form a very good set, which exactly span Swamiji's message. So, like out of the entire lectures in Colombo to Almora, if you read these four, right, and including the Swamiji's response to the welcome, so it becomes 5 lectures in Chennai. And of course, he gave one more lecture extempore in the Triplicane Literary Society on request from Alasinga Perumal. So that was more of an unplanned lecture. Now these 5 lectures form the core of the entire lectures from Colombo to Almora. So this Swamiji stayed here and he met a lot of people and lot of students. And so there are some things which are significant here. And one conversation with the student I wanted to read, which is quite interesting. So one day a young man complained to the Swami that he could not make progress in spiritual life. He had worshipped images, following the advice of one teacher, and had tried to make his mind void according to the instruction of another, but all had been fruitless. Sir, said the young man, I sit in meditation, shutting the door of my room, keeping my eyes closed as long as I can, but I do not find peace of mind. Can you show me the way? So this was the question posed by a young man to Swamiji. My boy, replied the Swami, in a voice full of loving sympathy. If you take my word, you will have to first of all to open the door of your room and look around, instead of closing your eyes. There are hundreds of poor and helpless people in your neighborhood. You have to serve them to the best of your ability. You will have to nurse and procure food and medicine for the sick. You will have to feed those who have nothing to eat. You will have to teach the ignorant. My advice to you is that if you want peace of mind, you have to serve others to the best of your ability. So this is what Swamiji's central message was. And so there's another quotation I'll again read from the book. Swami Vivekananda often used to say that different forms of spiritual discipline were especially efficacious for different ages. At one period, it was the practice of austerities. At another period, the cultivation of divine love. And at the third period, it was philosophical discrimination accompanied by renunciation. But in modern times, he emphasized, unselfish service of others, karma yoga, would quickly bring spiritual results. Therefore, he advocated the discipline of selfless action. He particularly advocated this discipline for the Indians because they were under the spell of tamas inertia. The Swami realized that only after cultivating rajas would they be able to acquire sattva and attain liberation. So this was this kind of summarizes Swamiji's entire teaching of uh, during the in this entire lecture series of Colombo to Almora. So this is the whole. This is the summary, and wherever Swamiji went, he expanded this and he was teaching this message. Now, based on the experience of Swamiji's train travel from Colombo to from Ramnad to Chennai, to Madras, as it was called during those days, and being frequently interrupted by people. So people advised him to go by steamer, by ship from Chennai to Calcutta. So he went from Madras. He went by steamer to Calcutta, and he arrived in Calcutta on February 19th, 1897. And again in Calcutta also there was a huge reception, and so the entire city of Calcutta fully decked up, and he uh, and then there was a greeting, welcome, which was arranged for him, and he responded to it. So he landed up in the Sialda station, and so it was a procession was held, full of triumphant arches, flags, banners. So just as it was in Madras, it was so in Calcutta also. Now, at this time, the Ramakrishna Mutt was already moved from Baranagur to a place called uh, Ala, Alam Bazar, right? So the Mutt was at Alam Bazar, but because it was not possible to entertain huge number of visitors in Alam Bazar Mutt, Swamiji was stayed in Seal's garden, right? And his European disciples stayed there, and Swamiji during the daytime he stayed in Seal's garden, where he received hundreds of visitors, and for night stay he went to Alambazar Mutt, where he stayed with his brother disciples. So that is how Swamiji stayed in Calcutta during the time when he was there. And on February 28th, there was a public reception arranged, and it was attended by 7,000 people. So you can see here, Swamiji is there in the center here, right? Like, so this was the uh, reception, and Swamiji spoke in Calcutta, and so his speech in Calcutta was so full of warmth, and he in his Calcutta address he says, "I'm the same old Calcutta boy, and I'm feeling back at home here, and you are all my own people." And so there's a sense of intimacy and in his Calcutta speeches, and also in Calcutta he spoke highly. He did not, because in other places he tried to avoid talking too much about Sri Ram Krishna. In Calcutta, he spoke about Sri Ram Krishna, and he said like he is everything to me. And one second, there is a small quotation. Yeah, and also he emphasized that the, he will have nothing to do with politics, and he's a sannyasi, and he completely kept away from politics, and he also wanted the Ramakrishna, the Ramakrishna, the other the monks also to keep away from politics. And so he paid a touching tribute to Sri Ramakrishna, and he said, "My teacher, my master, my hero, my ideal, my God in life." And so this is how he talked about Sri Ramakrishna. And so soon after Swamiji arrived there, the birth anniversary of Sri Ramakrishna was there, and it was celebrated at Dakshineshwar, drawing huge crowds, and it was celebrated in a very elaborate way. And then let me see. Yeah, yeah. So mainly he emphasized on serving the poor, and that is what he was emphasizing. And so at this, there were initially there were some opposition from some brother disciples, from other disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. They said Sri Ramakrishna spoke more about leading a spiritual life, more about meditation and study of the scriptures. But then you are emphasizing more on social service and serving the people. Now, was this what Sri Ramakrishna taught? So there were a lot of discussions of that, and Swamiji was able to convince his brother disciples that it was Sri Ramakrishna's will that is working through him, and he cited several instances where Sri Ramakrishna emphasized on serving the other living beings, seeing God in them as higher to worshipping God in the forms and through puja. So he was eventually able to convince his brother disciples, but it took. There was a phase where, uh, like Swamiji, some of his brother disciples were not convinced on this, and he had to work hard and have a lot of discussions, and then finally they were convinced. And so Swamiji spoke in Vedanta in all its phases. And on May 1st, 1897, Swami Vivekananda founded the Ramakrishna Mission, and it was a meeting which was arranged in Balram Bose house. Balram Bose was a very close disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, and a lot of things happened in his house. Like today, if you go to Calcutta, Balram Bose house is a place which is to be visited. Like, and it lot of important things happened there, and lot of direct disciples stayed there. Holy Mother lived there in Balram Bose house for quite some time. So along with Udbodhan house, which is Mother's house, Mayor Bhatti, like along with that, Balram Bose house is one of the important places of pilgrimage to all followers of Sri Ramakrishna. So that is where on May 1st, the meeting was held, and then where the Ramakrishna mission was started officially. And so Swami Vivekananda declared that Raja Maharaj, Swami Brahmananji, as the head of the organization. And and then he said that it is for the cooperation of monastic and household disciples of the Ramakrishna order to organize educational, philanthropic, and religious activities. So that is what he said was the uh, purpose of the mission. And soon after this, a very interesting thing happened. So Swamiji handed over to Swami Brahmananji as the head of the Ramakrishna mission all the money that he had earned by giving lectures in Europe and US. he handed over everything to the organization, handed it over to Swami Brahmanandji, and took it into the account of the Ramakrishna mission. And soon after that, after handing over everything, after some time, when he had to leave from Balrambo's house back, he had to take a boat. He and his disciples, they had to take a boat from there to for the boat. So and Brahmanandji was embarrassed. He said, "What is this? You are asking for money, an ordinary person." And Swamiji said, "Yes, I am an ordinary person, just like any other person in the organization." So, so Swamiji never considered himself as anything special in the Ramakrishna mission itself, and he completely dedicated himself to the mission. And another interesting incident which happened around this time is so Swamiji was taking a class or discussing with one of his disciples about the Vedas, and so new copies of Sainacharya's commentary on the Vedas had arrived, and Swamiji was talking about it and pointing to the huge books which were there. And so at that time, Girish Chandra Ghosh used to be belovedly called as GC. So he came, and he was not Girish Chandra Ghosh. He was a great scholar, and he was the father of Indian modern. Girish Chandra Ghosh is considered as the father of modern Indian drama, and so he was a very, very popular literary figure, and his dramas were a turning point in Indian theater. And so, in spite of that, like Girish Chandra Ghosh was not very a scholar of religion and philosophy, so he did not bother about it. Like he was more devotional. He was very, very highly devoted to Sri Ramakrishna. So when Swamiji pointed out the books, the commentaries on Vedas by Sainacharya, and then told, "See, Girish, there is so much of this, so much of literature uh, of the scriptures and their commentaries and all these things. When will you read all these things?" And Girish immediately replied back, "I don't need to read all these things. And see, I would just," and what Girish did was dramatic. He bowed down to the books and said, "Veda Swarupaya Sri Ramakrishnaya Namaha." Sri Ramakrishna, in the form of all these Vedas, I bow down to you. And he told Swamiji, "See, with this, I will just cross over all these things without having to study all these things. I will, by the grace of Sri Ramakrishna, I will just cross over life. You have to teach people. So Sri Ramakrishna is making you study all these things. That is not my path. To me, just the name of Sri Ramakrishna is enough. I will just cross over all these things and keep going. You come later." Girish made a very funny remark. And Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda agreed to Girish. He said, "Yes, that is your path, and this is the work given by the master to me, and I have to study all these things." And then Girish continued the conversation. He, in his own dramatic way, he talked to to Swami Vivekananda and the disciples who were assembled there. He was describing how the famine was happening and how people, the Indian people, were starving, and dying in hundreds because of the ongoing famine. So he was describing, and when he started describing it, Swami Vivekananda became very, very emotional, and he couldn't control his tears. He broke down and crying. He went to the other room to console himself, to wash his face, and then Girish told the other disciples of Swami Vivekananda assembled there. He said, "See, you people know only the intellectual side of Swami Vivekananda, and now you see this is the tender heart which cries for the common man. He could not control his tears listening to the suffering of the people. It is this Vivekananda that we follow." Uh, So Girish told this, and he kind of wanted to show the disciples of Swamiji the other side of Swamiji, which they often did not happen to see. And it was very interesting incident which happened at this time. And Swamiji initiated some brahmacharis to sannyasa, and and some of Swamiji's other brother disciples at the time, they criticized Swamiji that he was very uh, non-discriminating in whom he initiates into sannyasa. So they were, but then Swamiji said, like, no, like these people have come, and once they have come to the feet of Sri Ram Krishna, like I'm not the one to eliminate and discard any of them. So he said, like, if I don't take them, who will take them? So, Swami, so Swamiji like man expressed his so much of love and compassion that he was anyone who came, he initiated them, and anyone who wanted sannyasa, he also gave sannyasa to them. And and then so around the summer was becoming hot, and the Swamiji's health was deteriorating. So he was advised by the doctors to leave Calcutta and go to Almora and spend some time there to gain back his health. And also, Swamiji had Western disciples. They also were finding Calcutta very too hot. So, having taking some of his disciples, he went. So now Swamiji, like he traveled a lot, and so wherever he went, his disciples went along with him, and classes. He was continuing to give classes, lectures to his disciples, along with public lectures. So, so that way, like he was a kind of a moving troop of disciples, and classes continued. His teachings continued. They were to follow meditation and whatever study and everything as they kept traveling also. And so Swami, in Almora, there was a big crowd who invited him, and he gave a talk. I think in the Raghunatha temple, which is there now. That is where Swamiji gave us a talk, and then he was spending time with his disciples, training them, teaching them, and also giving uh, attending to public whoever was visited, like guiding them and all that. And so from Almora to Bareilly, and so again he spoke there of gave religious talks, delivered lectures, and then from there moved to Amritsar, and then due to ill health he had to go to stay for some time in Dharamshala, and then visited Kashmir from there, and and then finally like he returned to Muri, and from there he went into Punjab, and in Lahore he gave a lot of lectures. In those days, Lahore was a part of India, as you know, and he gave several lectures in Lahore. And so one thing was there in he found that there was a rift between Orthodox Hindus and Arya Samaj people. So he was tried to bridge that gap. He was helping them to talk to each other and bridge their misunderstandings, and to uh, uh, come to work together for the welfare of the country. So he spent time there, and then so and then in Lahore he met uh, Tirtharam Goswami, who later took sannyas and became Swami Ram Tirtha. You can see the picture here. Swami Ram Tirtha, he was a very ardent follower of Swami Vivekananda, and very, very brilliant and powerful sannyasi. Later he became sannyasi, and he went to US, and he gave a lot of lectures in the US independently, just like Swami Vivekananda. So uh, he was inspired by Swamiji at Lahore. And after all this tour, finally Swamiji went to Khetri, and there he was warmly welcomed, and he and the Maharaja of Khetri uh, uh, donated for the Belur Mutt, which was being built at that time. So much of the Belur Mutt land was bought by one disciple of Swamiji, Western disciple, and the much of the funds for the initial buildings of Belur Mutt was given by another Western disciple of Swamiji, and the Maharaja of Khetri also contributed to that for the initial buildings in Belur Mutt, which we'll see later, like how the Belur Mutt was developed. So, so here he visited Khetri. He gave lectures there, and after that he visited Kishangarh, Ajmer, Jodhpur, Indore, Khandwa, and finally we finished his tour and returned to Calcutta. And so this 1 year he spent the entire 1897 was entirely spent in Swamiji's what do you call triumphant uh, return to the back to India, and uh, because before going to the west, he had done a full Bharat Parikrama, uh, visiting various places and talking to various people and scholars and everything. And so this 1897, after coming back to India, he again went a full round and completed his 1 year of lecture tour, full Bharat Parikrama. And he returned back to Calcutta, and the next year, 1898, was entirely focused on training his disciples and getting them to take over his work from him. And during this time, when he was in India, during the entire time, he was in touch with the what was happening in US and Europe. So there, Swami Saradananda and Swami Abhedananda, they were abroad, and he had already trained his disciples there. Swami Abhedananda, Kripananda, we saw, and so they were continuing his work in US and in Europe, and that was he was continuing to keep track of what is happening there, and he ensured that all the 3 years of effort he had put in the US and Europe did not lack his support. Like, so he was fully supporting through letters there, and also whatever talks he was giving here. So this 1897, this entire lecture tour which Swamiji did, J.J. Goodwin had noted down everything, and that very year it was published as a book. So the book Colombo to Almora, this series of lectures, was published as a book in that year itself, and it was widely distributed. And even in India also, lot of relief work was started. So Swami Ramakrishnanandaji, Shashi Maharaj, he went to Madras and started the work there. Along with, of course, Alasinga Perumal and others were there. So Ramakrishnanji's arrival at Madras was a big boost to the work in South India. And Swami Akhandanandji, like he had started an orphanage and he was doing work. And so, and Swami Trigunatitananda, he opened a famine relief center at Dinajpur, and then other centers in Diogar, Dakshineshwar, and Calcutta, they were all started. So his Swamiji's disciples also, like they spread in India, and a lot of relief work and a lot of work on teaching Vedanta, spreading Vedanta. So it was started, and so the work in India started to roll by this 1 year of lecture tour of Swamiji. So we'll end here, and so with this, the lecture from Colombo to Almora is over. So this is something which all Indians have to read. As I told you, the book Lecture to Colombo book is there, lectures from Colombo to Almora, and a lot of repetition is there in that book. And if you want a condensed version of that, you can read the 5 lectures which he gave in Chennai. So that covers all the topics without much repetition, because all the 5 lectures were given to a single audience. So there is not much of repetition in that. And in that 5 lectures, Swamiji covers almost all the topics that he wants to discuss and the message he wants to deliver to India. And this picture is the K3 palace, which is where the Raja of K3 hosted Swamiji. And so, okay. And also, like, I would also highly recommend you to buy the new book, Awakening the Nation, by Srinivas Venkatram. The camera might not show this book. I don't know if it is able to catch it. So this is the book. And though the book is slightly costly, it is almost 1,000 rupees, but it is really worth it. And whoever can get a copy of it, please buy it. You can buy it on Amazon also. And that gives a very refreshing treatment of the lectures from Colombo to Almora, with lot of pictures, lot of graphics, infographics to understand the message. It has come out really well, and I would highly recommend to read that book. Fine. So we'll stop here. Om Namah Shri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukhaswarupaya Swamine Tapaharine. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Ram Krishna. Jai Ram Krishna. Jai Ram Krishna.